Baby, baby, falling in love. I'm falling in love again. Dun, dun. I just heard that song I think I was at Walmart and I heard that song. Was it Walmart or the grocery store? I think it was Walmart. Sometimes when you're in like Walmart or Target, mostly Walmart, you'll hear songs like that, like 70s songs. Like you haven't heard them in forever. Like I haven't heard this song in like 20 years. And you hear it, you're like, I love this song. I haven't heard this song in like forever. And that's what's so great. Like when you go to the grocery store or Walmart, sometimes they'll put on like light FM or whatever, or like, like light music, and they'll put on like some of the 70s stuff or like even early 80s. And like today I heard that song. I remember that song when I was a kid. It was baby, baby, falling in love. I'm falling in love again. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, 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 dun. Baby, baby, falling in love. And that's the only verse I really know in the whole song is baby, baby, falling in love. I'm falling in love again. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, man. But, so anyway, I wanted to do a video. I haven't done one in a while. Allergies are absolutely horrific. Not. And in this one, I am going to talk about when you realize you're dating a narcissist. Sometimes you don't realize this till years and years and years later. What it feels like. What that actually feels like when you find out or realize the person that you were with is a narcissist. Okay. Oftentimes, you're going to feel like something is off. You're going to feel like you're going to start seeing patterns, and you're going to know in your heart that something just isn't right. You can't put your finger on it. You might be looking, pulling at strings, trying to just figure out what the hell is this? What am I dealing with here? What is really going on in this situationship? Because what I'm dealing with just isn't right. It's not normal. But you're not going to be able to put your finger on it. And that's the sad part of it. And you might end up wasting years of your life with someone because you just keep blowing it off or thinking that you're just too sensitive, like I did. I thought I was just too sensitive. I thought I was too picky. I was too sensitive. And I just blew everything off without really knowing what it was I was dealing with. Sometimes you don't know it until you know it. Okay? Now, I didn't know it, but my senses were always telling me that something wasn't right. How can you be with someone for this amount of time? And it's just not growing. It's not maturing. It's not blooming. Nothing was right. Nothing about that relationship was right. And I knew it. My senses was telling me. This is why this is the struggle and the constant struggle that you're going to be in with these people. Because on one side of you, you're like, but sometimes we get along that's really nice. And it's like this other side of you, but he's very selfish. The relationship is not going anywhere. It's like this double sword, all right? And you don't know what to do. Sometimes when you realize that you're dealing with a narcissist, you might be shocked. You might be surprised. But I'll tell you this. When I had the term narcissist, everything, like the doors were open for me where I finally had answers. Because before I realized or I knew he was a narcissist, I just thought he was moody. I just thought he was a little bit, grumpy, a little moody, not, a little grouchy at times. I just thought, maybe he's in a bad mood because of his job, maybe the commute was getting, I always made excuses for it, for the relationship dying. But underneath it all, adding on all the tactics, the manipulations and everything what I went through, finding out that he was a narcissist was a godsend. it was a blessing. And I look at it as such. It was a blessing for me because once I had that term, narcissist, everything made sense. Everything made sense. Not just the demise of the relationship, the pedestal stage, the devalue stage, the discard stage, the cheating, the lying, the future faking. All the things, the gaslighting, the manipulations, the selfishness, everything, the triangulation, everything made sense. I had a term, I had a diagnosis. And with that, I got my answers. That's why it's so important to when you know something's off, you have to kind of look, do your research. If you're dealing with a certain tactic, maybe it's the silent treatment, research silent treatment. If it's lying or cheating, look that up. Do your research about it. Sometimes just reading about a certain thing like cheating or lying or betrayal or future faking can get you to narcissism. The word manipulate, I often find the word manipulate is tied to narcissist, because that is the narcissist's, another one of their biggest tools that they use is manipulation. As far, and also the silent treatment as well, but the narcissist lives on manipulation. That's what they do. Okay? They manipulate you, they manipulate situations, and that is how they get to where they need to be, is by manipulating. You might also call them shapeshifters, magicians, Houdini, things like that, because they kind of make you think things and feel things that aren't really there, right? They're very good at that. There are people who have been in relationships with narcissists who really thought they were on board with them and they really weren't, right? So just know that. Definitely, there comes a turning point. And I know for me, the turning point was when I realized that he was a narcissist. That was a big turning point for me, because it gave me the clarity, it gave me the tools to understand, to learn, and then to accept why things didn't work out and why things can never work out with my ex-narcissist, and why things were doomed from the very start. So it gives all that clarity. So you finally have closure. You don't get it from the narcissist, you get it from your own learning and acknowledgement of what you were dealing with wasn't really normal. Yeah, you do feel empowered. You do. Like, I know you do. I did feel empowered by it, because I didn't feel that feeling anymore of anything being my fault, and also that I was able to move on after that and not look back as well. And I learned a lot from it. I learned a lot from it through having boundaries and learning not to get into that situation again with somebody new. I know what a narcissist is now. I know what it is. I have dated more than one narcissist. I only had one long-term relationship with one, but I have dated a couple narcissists in my life, not just him. I've also dodged a few narcissists in my life, because I've been on dates with guys who were definitely narcissists, and I was able to pick that up, because I know that they're narcissists by the way they are, the way they act, their personality. So it definitely empowers you. And the more you learn about the disorder, the better you're going to be. You're going to be able to protect yourself better. You're going to have this like armor around you, whereas these narcissists can't touch you anymore. That's how I feel anyway. Not to say that you don't feel a sense of sadness, because it is sad too, because you know that it's never going to work out. This is doomed forever. It is doomed. But it's not your fault, it's doomed. once, and this is the truth, like when I realized that my ex-narcissist was a narcissist, we had been broken up for about 7 or 8 years at that point. Yet I was still dealing with an online problem. I was still dealing with, I wouldn't say regret, but I was still dealing with a feeling of, what the hell happened? Why was he so stupid? Like things like that. Like just still not having the full-on answers that I always wanted. Because my ex-narcissist does not speak. He's very quiet. So I was still, there was like this lingering feeling. I can't describe the lingering. It's not of hope or of reconciling. It's like this lingering feeling. I can't describe what that lingering is. It's not that you want to be with them anymore, but you just feel like disgusted and disappointed in that person and disgusted by them. But also you feel like, why did you have to do that? It was so unnecessary, you know? You just feel like that. And I don't want to. Truthfully, I don't want to accuse my ex-narcissist of doing things. If he didn't do it, then if he's not guilty of it, then he's not guilty of it. But, unfortunately, these are things that you just need to let go of, and you need to just move on with your life and go no access. Now, no access is the best thing that you can do if you're dealing with a narcissist. And if you have an ex or someone that you're in your life that you kind of want to break the ties with, going no access will guarantee and ensure that you will never have to deal with them again if they don't have your contact information, which is your text message, your phone number, and then your email, your things like that. If they can't get a hold of you, then they can't bother you. And unfortunately, sometimes you have to do that. Not that you want to do that, but it's the best for your own mental health. It's the best for you moving on. And sometimes you're just done. When it came to my narcissist, I'm just done. I've given him more than one chance to be a good person, just be a regular guy to me, just be decent to me. And every single time he's chosen to be a dickhead. So I don't need him in my life. I went no access and no contact, and that's it. It's over with. Okay? These are things that you should do. If you're dealing with a constant problem with an ex-boyfriend and you don't see it changing, you don't see any improvement, you don't see it growing or getting better, then you really should go no contact, really. You really should. Because all they do is come back into your life to cause you frustration and aggravation. Like, they're not there because of true caring about you. So, it's like I said with mine, he's just a weird person. He's just very unusual, and unfortunately, me and him will never be on the same page. I've let go of it, and I've moved on with my life. Having this channel and doing these little venting videos where I talk about narcissists, it helps a little bit, but I don't need to do this. I do it as a little hobby. I don't need to do it. After a while, you just kind of like run out of things to talk about because I don't really know what to say anymore. I feel like I've covered what I've dealt with. I feel like I've covered it pretty good, But the realization could be heartbreaking. I know, like, when you realize it, it's like someone has just given you, a major, wake-up call. Wow, he's a narcissist. It's like, wow, that's why everything happened the way it did. And that's why things just didn't work. And this is why he goes through people like underwear, Like, this is why. This is why they cheat. This is why they're not loyal. They lie. This is why they don't take accountability. They future fake, make false promises. They triangulate you with other people. The relationship. They're very selfish. Selfishness is a big one, too. Like, that's a big sign that you're dealing with a narcissist, is when they're very selfish. Like, They are, like, big time selfish people. Like, it's a big turn off. Big turn off. But yeah, so I don't really know what else to, if I'm going to do another topic or not. I thought about doing this topic because I think this is something that people deal with, is the realization, waking up to a narcissist. You know, it's a journey. It is a journey. It's about, you know, learning about you, learning about what you dealt with. It's about growing. It's about you get more closure. It's so many things happen when you really do realize that your ex is a narcissist, or the guy that you're dealing with, or the guy you're dating is a narcissist. It does. It empowers you so much. But yeah, I mean, it does. It's the mutual respect, and that's what I think. That's one thing that you kind of learn about, is that I know when I was with mine, most of the time I felt very disrespected. That was a big, towards the end, the respect was just out the window. You know, the communication and the respect. Those are two things that has to be working at all times, is communication and respect. Without those two things, your relationship will never grow, never get better. It can't go on to the next thing if you don't have respect or communication. And we didn't have any of that at the end. Hardly at all. Really, hardly at all. So, yeah, really, you know, realizing that you're with a narcissist is a huge, huge wake-up call. And like I said, once you kind of know they're a narcissist, it's sad on the one hand, because you know that, wow, why didn't I see this before? Like, why didn't I know? And then there's like this acceptance that goes with it, where you kind of have the answers. You kind of know that it wasn't your fault. Nothing could have saved the relationship. Nothing that you did was wrong, right? Nothing that you did or didn't do was going to make much of a difference in that relationship. It was doomed from the very start. And it's too bad that we didn't know this on day one, but it took 10 years for me to find out. But that's okay. It's all right. It's all good. At least I do know. And I'll be honest, since I found out he was a narcissist about 3 years ago, since I know that now, yeah, I mean, things are very, very different for me. I'm much happier. You know, when you break up with someone that you thought you were going to be with forever, or someone, not forever, but, you know, long term, maybe married, maybe grow old with or whatever, and then it doesn't happen, you are going to feel, even though you've moved on and years have passed, sometimes you still, this little lingering thing that you say, oh, well, what if, you know, I don't have that anymore. I don't have the what ifs, because I know he's a narcissist. And there is no what if with a narcissist, because nothing I could have done, or anything I ever will do, could ever make up for that. You know, it is a malignant personality disorder that cannot be healed, that will never be healed. And people sometimes say, well, when they get older, doesn't that go away? Like, do their tactics get less? No, they don't. In fact, they get worse. As a narcissist gets older, their disorder becomes worse and worse and worse. It doesn't get better at all. You know, they are still very regretful. They look back on the people they left behind, because, you know, narcissists leave a trail of broken hearts behind them. A trail, because they're just not able to deal with relationships. They're not able to be honest in relationships. And the craziness and the just everything that they do to you is very heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. You know, especially if you once got along really well. Like, me and my narcissist got along really well. We had the same kind of lifestyle. Like, we got along pretty good. Minus his narcissistic behavior patterns, we got along pretty well. You know, we really did. We liked a lot of the same things. We fit very well in other ways, and it really was it's a shame that it didn't work out. It really is a shame. But narcissists don't see it like that. Narcissists do not see it as, well, that's a shame. You know, me and her, we got along. They don't think like that. They're just like, okay, where's my replacement? You know, she's asking me questions. She wants me to be accountable and responsible and be truthful to her. Oop, I gotta go find somebody else. Because the minute that you ask or you expect your narcissist to be honest with you and upfront with you and talk to you about real feelings and, deep things, they're not going to do that with you. They're not going to do anything like that with you. And the minute that you start wanting that from them, they are going to leave. They're not interested in fixing the relationship. They're not interested in fixing themselves and looking inside and saying, well, what am I doing wrong here? They don't do that. It's easier for a narcissist just to find somebody else. Narcissists do not have standards, so they'll be with anybody. As long as the person has a heartbeat, as I said, they don't care who's laying next to them. They could care less if it could be anyone. As long as that person has a heartbeat, they'll be with you. As long as you don't ask too much of them, once you start wanting things from them, expecting, them to be transparent with you, you put them on the spot about some things that don't make sense, or you ask them questions about things, they are going to leave. And they will leave in a heart. They will just leave you, like, without even talking about it. They're gone. And they could care less, because it's very easy for a narcissist to find a new supply source. It is. As I said, they don't have standards. Whereas, for me, I'm a very picky and particular person. Like, narcissists are not like that. They don't care with someone who that person is. They do not look inwards. They have no introspection. There's no personal growth. They cannot look at a relationship and say, you know what? She's right. What led to the breakup was this and this and this. I was doing this. I wasn't doing that anymore. They don't do that. All they do is flip it around and they blame you and they say, you were doing that. You didn't do this. You didn't do that. You did that. And then you say, well, I never did that. I haven't been doing that in a long time and I never was that way. They don't care. Like, then they look at you like a deer in headlights. Once you combat, all right, or you come back, kind of like, how can I put this? When they give you their bullshit friggin' excuse as to why you broke up or whatever excuse they're using, and you come back with your defense, and in your defense, saying, oh no, that's not the truth, this is why it happened, they look at you like you have 5 heads. And then they don't have a comeback because they know you're right. And narcissists hate that feeling of you being right. So a lot of times narcissists won't even debate with you. A lot of times they don't like to answer questions that they know they're wrong on, or things that they're guilty of. They don't like to do that. So that's what it's like with a narcissist. It's a pattern, a circle of just BS. And you're never going to get to the bottom of anything. You're always going to be looking and searching for answers. Like, what happened? Like, what happened? It was awful. So I definitely recommend going no access and no contact if you can do that. If you have kids, it's going to be rough to do that. You really can't do that. But you have to go basically, talk only when you need to type thing about the child, and that's it. You can't be having small talk. Things like that ain't going to happen. You can't do that with narcissists. But anyway, guys, that's it for this video. I just wanted to talk about these little things about realizing and just realizing, the whole narcissist, that new thing could be a lot for people. Once you realize you're with a narcissist, it is. It's a good thing, but it's going to take a while for you, and it could be shocking once you start getting all these answers thrown at you. Because, like, for me, I had a bunch of answers. Like, it was, like, amazing to me. It was like I won the lottery when it came to, like, knowledge, because it was like, wow, that's what he was doing with the future faking, and wow, with the cheating, he was doing this, and, like, it was amazing. Like, I had all these answers, and it was great. It was great. So anyway, that's it for this video. And I will be back. I will be doing some, alright guys, I want to tell everybody, I did get a new phone. I got a new phone, and I am very excited to set it up. I haven't set it up yet. I'm going to set it up, and I'm going to try doing some videos on it to see. I have some shopping videos to do, and I'm going to try to see how they come out, you know, to get a new phone. I'm very excited about the phone. I'm very excited that hopefully the videos will be a little bit better. Like I said, I'm never going to be that person who does all the bells and whistles and the, you know, the music and the introduction and state-of-the-art background. I don't have that. I just do these little videos, you know, in my room as a little thing, you know, like totally amateur stuff, you know, but I do like doing it. I enjoy it. I haven't done one in a while because, oh, we're also having a problem with Verizon. I think I said that in my other videos. A lot of people in my area are having very slow, not slow speeds. Like, I don't get as many bars as I used to. I used to get like 3, 4 bars. Now I'm getting like sometimes 1 or 2. So it's causing a lot of problems with uploading and stuff like that. So I'm going to record it and I'm going to upload it and I'm going to see how it comes out. Definitely next week. I'm going to say next week I'm definitely going to do it. So yeah, I got a new phone. And I haven't set it up yet. I haven't put like, you know, the email to the thing. Like I have to still set it up and take it out of the box and everything, but I'm excited to do it. And yeah, so that is it for this one. And like I said, the phones today, you know, it's hard to find a good phone, right? Like, I don't know. It's just very hard to find a good cell phone. All the cell phones are kind of shitty, right? Like, I don't know. I've had a couple in the last few years. I've had 2 cell phones. I wasn't in love with any of them. They were both kind of. I don't care for an iPhone. You know, I don't like the whole Apple thing. I don't care for it. I don't like the apps. I don't think they have enough apps that I like. I don't know. I just don't like iPhones. I don't care for it. I'm an Android type girl. But with Android, you only have a few. You get a Google Pixel, a Samsung, or a Motorola. You have 3 different choices. Like, what happened to like all the different choices we used to have with cell phones like years and years ago, right? You had Nokia, you had LG. What happened to those? You know? I don't know. It's just like these phones aren't the greatest. I don't know. But I'm looking forward to trying out my new one, and hopefully it'll be really good. The reviews were really good on it. They were really good and very positive. So keep my fingers crossed that it'll be a little bit quicker to get my videos up. And maybe I can do some videos with me showing in the video for a change. I do have some shopping videos to do. I got a few new things. So anyway, that's it for this one.